Forests are supposed to be peaceful, quiet. But for some people, they became a place of fear, of things that can't be explained. These are 5 terrifying stories from people who went into the woods and came back with something far worse than just bad memories. If you think you know what's hiding in the trees, think again. I was hiking alone in Oregon a few months ago. It was a quiet trail, and I'd been walking for hours when I decided to rest under this massive old tree. I took a sip of water and just sat there, listening to the wind. But then, I started hearing something. It was faint, like a whisper. At first, I thought it was just leaves rustling, but then I realized it sounded like a woman's voice. I stood up and looked around. Nobody. The whispering stopped. I laughed it off and turned to leave. That's when I heard it again. But this time, it said my name, clear as day, right in my ear. I didn't wait around to find out where it was coming from. I ran. I haven't gone hiking alone since. My best friend and I went camping last October in a forest up north. Everything was normal until this thick fog started rolling in out of nowhere after dark. We were sitting by the fire, trying to shake off the cold, when my friend suddenly went quiet. He pointed toward the trees. I looked and saw 2 glowing eyes staring right at us. At first, I thought it was an animal, maybe a deer or something, but the eyes blinked, vertically, like some kind of reptile. But it was huge. We didn't move. It just stood there, watching, all night. When the sun came up, it was gone. We packed up immediately, but before we left, we noticed something around our tent. Scratch marks, deep ones, in the bark of the trees. It was supposed to be a fun weekend. Just 4 of us camping in the woods, drinking, laughing, doing stupid stuff. On the second day, my buddy Kyle went to collect firewood before sunset and never came back. At first, we thought he was messing with us, but after 2 hours, we started shouting his name. Nothing. We called the police, and they sent out search teams. Dogs, helicopters, the whole thing. Still nothing. 3 days later, he just showed up at the edge of the forest, barefoot, filthy, covered in scratches. But the weirdest part? He didn't say a single word. Not then, not ever. It's been 2 years now, and Kyle still hasn't spoken about what happened in those woods. I work as a forest ranger in a national park. One night, I was doing a solo patrol when I heard music playing deep in a restricted area. It sounded old, like a violin or maybe a music box. I thought someone had snuck in, so I followed it. But every time I got close, it moved further into the trees. Eventually, it stopped completely. I found myself standing in a small clearing. The forest was dead silent. Then I got this overwhelming feeling that someone was right behind me. I turned around fast. Nothing. But the hair on my arms was standing straight up. When I looked down, there were no footprints. Not mine. Not anyone's. Like I hadn't even been walking. Story 5. The forest doesn't forget. When I was 16, my friends and I saw something in the woods that haunted us for years. It was a figure, tall, thin, wearing what looked like a deer mask. It didn't move, just stood there, deep in the trees, watching us. We ran and never spoke about it again. 20 years later, I went back alone. Part of me wanted closure. Part of me wanted to believe it was just our imagination. But when I reached that same spot, it was still there. Same mask, same stillness, like it had been waiting for me. The woods are still out there, silent, endless, and waiting. These were just 5 stories, but for everyone that's told, there are dozens more that stay buried in the dark. Tell me, which story haunted you the most? And have you ever seen something in the forest that you just can't explain?